Hey, welcome back to the Dirty Landry experience. And I was right. I said if Barkley, you remember? If Barkley gets 30 touches, right, that it won't be close. And no, I mean, Kansas City, I think they maybe took a left when they should have taken a right at the stadium because there was no redeeming quality for any of their game. I'm just upset about the fact that I don't know, how come Saquon Barkley wasn't the MVP? I mean, seriously, someone please explain that one to me. Now, I know that on a regular Barkley afternoon, you're getting used to this 150-yard performance, but he still had 100 yards, 57 on the ground and 40 in the air. That's 97. That's a 100-yard game. And the fact that Kansas City was like all over him all the time, the fact he got 100 yards out of that, 31 touches, does mean something. I think, well, let's play a game, okay? Just a little game, okay? And I'm not disputing that Philadelphia beat the crap, and all of these guys are good. Don't say anyone's good, but I just think that without Barkley in that game, that maybe the Eagles don't win. Follow me here. You have some really good players on that team. Let's go with the offense, right? Never mind the defense. The defense should be MVP, really, but they never do that. So, yeah, is a thing. Sorry about that. A.J. Brown, if he doesn't play, do they still win? Oh, yeah. It's like, of course, they've got Devonta Smith to throw to, which brings us to Devonta Smith. If he doesn't play, do they still win? Absolutely, they still win. Right? Okay, Dallas Goedert, yeah, same thing. I mean, he's good, great blocker and so forth, but, without him, they can find someone else, and it wouldn't have been a key part of the game. Jalen Hurts, do you not think that Kenny Pickett could have handed the ball to Saquon Barkley 25 times and still won the game? And thrown 6 short passes to Saquon and still won that game? I think so. But if Barkley doesn't play in that game, I don't think they win. As bad as Kansas City was, I think they focused so much on stopping Barkley that they forgot there was other guys on the team. And 40 points later, they're kind of looking in the rearview mirror going, like, what just happened here? But also remember that if you just look at the stats between Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes, as bad as Mahomes' game was and how bad that was, Mahomes has better stats than Hurts in that game. How misleading can stats be, right? I mean, Mahomes had 257 yards in the air. Hurts only had like 220. Mahomes led his team in rushing. So did Hurts. Only difference there was Hurts was 72 yards and Mahomes was 25. Do you believe Kansas City's rushing? I don't even call it a rushing attack. What do they have here? P. Ryan, 1 for 8 yards. Pacheco, 3 for 7. And Hunt, oh yeah, 3 for 9. I mean, it never ends. But look at the statistics between Hurts and Mahomes, and it's not that much different. Mahomes threw for 3 touchdown passes. Hurts for 2, but I mean, Hurts did get the tush push, so I guess they're even there. But nobody had Barkley. Nobody on Kansas City compares to Barkley. Not one guy. So to me, Saquon Barkley is your guy. And you wouldn't even been in the game if he hadn't been signed to your team at the start of the year. He set a record in that game, by the way. Most yardage rushing by any running back in the history of the league over a combined playoff regular season. Come on. This guy deserves the MVP. What do you have to do as a running back to win MVP in a Super Bowl? Because it just seems to automatically be, oh, there you go. It'll be the quarterback who wins. Come on, there's other guys on there. Hang on. What about this guy? Yeah, his last name is DeJean. He's a rookie. I mean, wow. That made it 17-0. And admit it, it was 17-0. Mahomes got the ball back, and you were worried. You were so, right? You were worried that he was going to score before the end of the half, and it would be 17-3 or 7, something like that. They get the ball at the start of the second. If he scores again, it's like 17-6, 17-10, maybe even 17-14. You were worried, but then this happened. Zach Braun or Bond. Yeah, well, that was when, that was it. I mean, went into the halftime 24-0. There was nothing Kansas City was going to do to come back from that deficit. And I told everybody in the room that was watching the game with me, I said, the first person that goes, New England was down 24-3 gets a slap. Because it was not going to happen. But I'll tell you, this was the most one-sided Super Bowl game that I can remember, well, maybe since Denver and Seattle. But this was not supposed to be this way. I mean, 40 whatever to 20 whatever, and Kansas City, I didn't even look. Kansas City was just lucky to have anything on the board. For all intents and purposes, that was a 40-0 beating. And that was a beatdown like no other. But the one part about Kansas City's game that they kind of patched through the entire season to get to the Super Bowl, but in the Super Bowl did not work, was the left side of that offensive line. That was just horrible. And kudos to the Eagles' defense, because really, if it wasn't Hurts and it wasn't Barkley, you darn right it was their defense. I mean, go back to Barkley for a second. You don't even get to that game without him. You look at the Washington game. I think his first 2 rushes were like 70 yards, 2 touchdowns, and not a fingerprint on him. The rest of the game didn't mean anything, really. It was how long is this going to last? Like Super Bowl. The Rams, if Barkley hadn't run off for that 60 or 70-yard snow burst down the sideline to give them the two touchdown lead late in the game, they wouldn't have been in the Super Bowl. It might have even been the Rams, because the Rams came back, made it a 1-score game, and they had the ball again in field goal territory. The only reason they didn't kick a field goal is because they needed a touchdown to tie. That's how close it was. And that's the difference that Barkley made in all those games in the playoffs. So it's, to me, Philadelphia, I'll give you that. Barkley, I mean, you guys just pounded it all game long. And kudos, congratulations, Bobby and Andre, my good friends who suffered through some lean years. But let's see what happens next year. Let's see what happens next week. I'm CJ. That is the Dirty Landry Experience. Please like, subscribe, comment, whatever. But